This is Sara Karloff, and you're listening to No Good Music.
We have a special guest with us today. She is the daughter of the legendary actor Boris Karloff. She's contributed to several books and documentaries concerning her father, and she's a regular guest at the Chiller Theater Convention in Parsippany. Let's all welcome to No Good Music, Sara Karloff. Oh, I'm so happy to talk to you today.
Hi, Rob.
This is my friend Jeremy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? I'm sorry I'm late.
That's okay. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are both of you?
Good. We're doing good.
Good. No complaints here.
We're recording a Universal Monster podcast also today.
Good.
Now you're in
I'm
California.
familiar with those.
Now you're in California. Is that correct?
I am.
So let's start off. Let's talk about your father,
Okay.
Boris Karloff. Now he was born William Henry Pratt. Do you know?
Was indeed.
Do you know why he changed his name and how he changed it to Boris Karloff?
Well, he felt that William Henry Pratt, especially Pratt, was not a very good name for an actor, given Pratt Falls and all.
Oh.
And he had a lovely sense of humor. And he always said that he changed it to Boris Karloff because Boris was a name, Karloff actually was a name known way back on his mother's side of the family, although all the biographers have not been able to find it in their research. And Boris, he just came from thin air.
Oh, okay.
So that's his version. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
I do think it's a great name for monster movies. I mean, that name, Boris Karloff, it sounds frightening to me.
Well, if he'd been a song and dance man, how would it have sounded?
Yeah.
Maybe just as appropriate. One never knows. But when he said Boris Karloff, it certainly did sound frightening.
Yeah. I think William Pratt was a good name, would have been a good name for an actor, personally. I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad name.
I think he was trying to save his family from disgrace, actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, geez.
Now, is your legal last name Karloff? Or is it Pratt?
My legal name is Sarah Jane Karloff Pratt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm actually the only legal Karloff because my father never took Karloff legally. He never took Boris Karloff legally.
Oh, okay.
His legal name remained William Henry Pratt, and when he signed legal documents, he had to sign them AKA Boris Karloff or AKA William Henry Pratt.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So I'm the only legal Karloff, I guess.
Very cool.
I always like to ask this. Of course, my parents weren't famous. Jeremy's parents weren't famous, but at what...
You never know what you might end up doing.
Yeah, well, that's true.
This is true.
At what age, when did you realize your father was an actor or somewhat famous?
What did your parents do? What age did you realize what they were doing? My father didn't bring his work home. He didn't talk about other actors. I really didn't live with my father's work. He didn't talk about his work at home. So when people realized who my father was or what my father did, I got some fairly rude questions, but as I was growing up, but at home he was just who he was, and he couldn't have been more different than the roles he played.
Okay.
So, Halloween at our house was not probably like Halloween at your house. He just didn't bring his work home. Hate to disappoint you. He didn't bury his friends under the rose bushes, and you know, he didn't. He just didn't kill people and bring the bodies into the garage. He just didn't do that.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because I know what people, when you know, as an actor, actress, like in certain roles, especially that your father had, you know, I don't know how they could think that he was that person, but that's a great actor when they can be someone totally different, and then as their actor, as their own persona. So, but what was your, in real life, what kind of man was your father? What was he a
Tough to ask the questions, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
What kind of person was my father? My father was very British in his personal interests. He loved the English game of cricket. He loved to garden. He loved animals. He didn't kill them or eat them. I mean, he wasn't a vegetarian. I don't mean that, but he was very kind, very soft spoken, very well educated, very articulate. Loved to read. He was very soft spoken. Had a lovely British sense of humor. He couldn't have been more different than the roles he played, and so he was just simply couldn't have been more different than what one would anticipate. He was British in his tastes. He was British in his dress. I don't mean dress, but in the manner in which he dressed. He was very well respected by those with whom he worked in the industry, and he was beloved by those who knew him personally. My godmother wrote a biography about him, and she said almost everybody that she interviewed would preface their remarks by saying, "Oh, dear Boris." And so titled their book, Dear Boris, the antithesis of the roles he played. Couldn't have been more different than you would have expected.
Now, how was he with fans that would approach him? Would he have gone to today autograph shows? Was he sociable?
No.
Or no? Okay.
Oh, he'd be very sociable.
Okay.
Very. He respected the fans. He was grateful for the fans. He was. No one would be more amazed than he at the fans he had, and more appreciative of the fans, more amazed than he was or would be now at his enormous fan base. I mean, my father's been gone now for 53 years, and the enormity of his fans still today, the multi-generational fan base that he has, he would just be absolutely amazed and appreciative and respectful of the fans. He would say, "What's the big deal?" He was known to say and said to me that a plumber couldn't act and an actor couldn't fix a sink. I mean, each his own trade, but respect whatever anybody did as their profession. He knew and respected anybody who was good at his trade, be it an actor or a plumber, because he felt everybody was fortunate if they were known in their trade and good at their trade and worked hard at their trade, no matter what the trade was. And he was often asked if he minded being typecast. And he would say, "Heavens, no. I'm very, very fortunate to be fortunate enough to have been typecast, whether it be as a song and dance man, a horror actor, and he preferred the word terror to the word horror. He would be, oh, could I have some of that? I'm so thirsty. See, the camera works both ways.
It's coffee. It's coffee.
Oh, is it really? Do you know,
Yeah.
I sponsor a brand of coffee.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
it's so good. Oh, I wish I had some right here on my desk. It's really very good. He felt that he was fortunate to be known as for the particular brand of acting that he did. He felt that he was a song and dance man, a comedy actor, a horror actor, any man who was fortunate enough to be typecast was very, very fortunate because then he would be known to be typecast and would be fortunate enough to be typed and cast often in a type of role. And he didn't mind at all being known for a particular type of role because it kept him an acting actor. He didn't mind being typecast at all.
And doing what he loved.
But actually, he loved doing comedy. He enjoyed doing roles such as in with Abbott and Costello, Vincent Price, where they spoofed their own boogeyman images. The other Roger Corman's film that he did, where they spoofed their own boogeyman images. They had great fun on the sets doing that. They felt it was how fortunate they were to have reached a point in their careers where they could spoof their images as horror men and have great fun making fun of themselves.
I don't think most people know him for comedy, you know. So he was definitely typecast. Yeah.
You know, and he did some fun things as a boogeyman. And he did some television work where he spoofed his own boogeyman image with Dinah Shore and with Carol Burnett and loved doing that. So he didn't mind being typecast. It gave him a broader base from which to do comedy.
I think I just saw someone post, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a show, Route 66.
Yes.
It was him, but wasn't it? It was a couple other people too that were in the monster. I don't know if it was Lon Chaney Jr. or,
Yes.
Yeah, someone just posted that the other day. Yes. They were in an episode.
And also he starred on Broadway in 5 Broadway plays. And he was in Peter Pan. He was in Arsenic and Old Lace. He was, he did all sorts of roles. He had 3 television series of his own. So, I mean, he didn't only do horror or terror movies, and he really did prefer the word terror to horror because he felt horror meant dumping blood and gore in your lap.
Yeah,
right. Terror invited the use of the audience's own intelligence and participation of the audience's intelligence and their own imagination and intelligence while watching a film, whereas horror was much more revolting, really.
You didn't have to think too much.
Right.
Yeah, some horror movies you don't have to think.
No. And the terror really involved the intelligence and participation of the audience itself. And he did 20 some albums of children's recordings like Rudyard Kipling and Hans Christian Andersen. So he had a broad base of a career. It wasn't just Frankenstein and the Mummy.
Yeah.
It was television and radio, a huge base of radio. So television and radio and Broadway and television series and television guest stars and television theater. And he was one of the first stars to leave Hollywood and participate in live television. And so he was fortunate. He did a lot of silent films, a lot of serials, and so he had a very, very broad base of work. 167 odd films.
Wow.
I don't mean odd, I mean 167 films. And some were odd, but some were not, and some were quite intelligent, and he had a wonderful career. So he was very fortunate in the variety of shows he did. Some were very funny, some were very frightening, and some were beautifully written. And he starred with some of the biggest stars, and he was amongst them for many, many years.
You know, as you go through his list of all the roles and accomplishments that he's had, do you think when he was filming the Universal Monsters, if he could look into the future 70 or 80 or 90 years ahead of time, do you think that he would have thought his legacy would be Frankenstein and the Mummy? Or do you think that, you know, he would have viewed it in a different way?
Oh, I think I saw an interview he did, and he was asked if he had any regrets, and he said no, one only. And he felt he was a very lucky man and to spend his career doing something he genuinely loved and enjoyed. But the one regret he had was that he never had an opportunity to be on the London stage. He was on the Broadway stage. He did repertory theater in Canada. But the one thing he would have loved to have done and never had an opportunity to do was to be on the London stage, and he would have dearly loved to have done that. But that was his one regret. Done all the things he had an opportunity to do during his working life.
So I heard that he was permanently scarred from Frankenstein. Was that true? That
scarred?
Yeah, I guess from what the makeup they used, maybe the bolt.
Oh no.
No?
No.
Okay.
I never saw any scars on his neck.
Okay.
He lost 25 pounds during the making of Frankenstein, and he was already a very skinny actor at the time because it was his 81st film, and as he said, nobody saw the first 80. He'd been in Hollywood for 10 years, and nobody knew it but him, and he'd been in the business for 20 years, 10 years in British Columbia and 10 years in Hollywood, and nobody knew it but him. But permanently scarred, he, of course, injured his back, carrying Colin Clive up and down the stairs and up and down the hillside. But permanently scarred, no.
Okay.
He regarded it as a wonderful, making a wonderful pivotal difference in his life, both professionally and personally. It certainly made him an overnight star after being in the business 20 years and in Hollywood for 10. Many actors never make it from being an extra or never make it to where he did a star or a legend or an icon, all of which he was fortunate enough to be called those names as he did, and that was the career jump, if you like. It wasn't easy. It was a very arduous career jump. That film was very difficult a role, but he would certainly feel it was a career jump and certainly made him an overnight star, if you like, after 10 years or 20 years in the business. Did he regret that? Heavens, no. So, no. Was it an easy film to make? No. But it certainly made the difference in his life that he had worked so hard for.
And in the movie, or when it came out to theaters, where it said the monster, there was a question mark. So at first, his name wasn't even. I mean, maybe some insiders knew who the monster was, but I'm pretty sure his name was not on the film in Frankenstein.
Well, he wasn't even invited to the premiere.
Oh, wow.
But he certainly was known thereafter. So was he grateful for that opportunity and that role? Heavens, yes. Was he grateful for the difference it made in his life and his career thereafter? Heavens, yes. Would he pass up that role given the opportunity? No, I don't think so.
So were you ever encouraged by your father to act, to get into acting, or did you ever think about pursuing that?
He said that he could tell I didn't have the fire in the belly because I paid more attention to Nana the dog than I did to him when I went back and saw him in Peter Pan. So I don't think he thought I would ever become an actress, and I never gave it one thought at all. No, I don't have the fire in the belly. Do I like doing interviews with guys like you? I love it because it's fun, and you guys are fun, and yeah. Well, I wasn't going to say you guys are easy.
And if you don't want to answer any question,
fans are wonderful.
Yeah.
Fans make it so easy because my father was such a gentleman and had such a wonderful career that I was talking to a friend today and I said, doing interviews is easy because my father was such a good person and such a gentleman. I never have to worry about the questions I'm asked.
Yeah, if he was not a nice person, you wouldn't even want to talk about him.
Right.
So
I don't have to worry about it.
I love to hear that he was a great person.
Yeah, he really was a lovely human being. And so doing interviews about him, I don't have to worry about the questions I'm going to be asked. And it's fun. The fans are wonderful. They really are. And doing shows is fun because the fans are just terrific. And they make it so nice for me to do a show because where else can I go and have nothing but nice questions and nice treatment and nice people to talk to. And so it's great fun to do a show or great fun to do an interview because the fans are so terrific. I love to do shows and interviews because it's fun to talk about my father. I have a good time doing it. So why wouldn't I continue doing it? If I had to worry about being asked rude questions, I wouldn't do it. I'd turn down an interview.
Right.
So it's fun.
So I'm going to ask you about horror films in general. I know you don't like horror films.
I don't like them.
But I want to tell you.
It's the worst kept secret that I don't like scary movies.
But I want to tell you that the first horror film I ever saw was Frankenstein. And I was about 4 years old, but it's like my earliest memory of anything. My dad was in his recliner watching Frankenstein. And when I saw the monster, I was hiding behind his recliner. I don't know if he turned it off, but I would say that's my first taste of like a horror film at 4.
And
that would have been 1969. I want to know what your first horror film was that you saw, and or why you don't like. I mean, I'm sure I know the answer why you don't like, because a lot of people don't like horror films because they're frightening and they'd rather watch some like a drama or a comedy.
Well, I don't like horror films.
Mm.
I don't like to be discomforted. I don't like to be scared. But I don't consider Frankenstein a horror film.
Okay.
I don't. I understand why at the time it was discomforting because it was the frontier of science, and it posed so many questions, scientific questions. It posed so many new questions that had never yet been asked. And so it was discomforting.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was scary. I think it was startling when he turned around in that doorway.
Yeah.
But it wasn't horrifying.
That's a great scene because I've seen that movie so many times, but I don't know why. I just noticed when he comes up the steps and he opens the door, he's turned around. For the audience to not see his face right away and to anticipate what he looked like. I thought that's a great scene.
Oh, it is. But it's not going to make you think of some of the films today.
Yeah.
Now they're horrifying. They're disgusting. They're stomach turning.
Yeah.
Right.
And they'll make you jump. But there's nothing in this film that will make you do things but question science, question the frontiers that you're pushing, about questioning.
Like bringing someone back from the dead,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you'll question when it says, when Colin Clyde thinks he's like God. That will make you question certain beliefs.
Yeah.
But it doesn't turn your stomach.
Yeah. Right.
There's a difference.
We watched 6 Universal films that we're reviewing, and we even said there were no blood.
Yep.
They were in black and white. But yeah, not like today's films where it's over. It looks too real sometimes.
Yeah.
A little too real.
These don't.
Yeah.
These make you question certain values or certain beliefs or certain things you've held as beliefs. But they're not gory, They're
more suspenseful, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't like to jump. I don't like to. I licensed a house, haunted house, back in Salem years ago, and I had to, of course, walk through it. I was scared to death, and I said, "Okay, guys, we're going to leave all the lights on and all the doors open." And if anybody touches me or jumps out at me, you lose your job. You're fired instantly. That sort of startling scare, I don't like.
Yeah. Right. I don't like haunted houses either. I don't think I've ever gone to one.
I don't want anybody to touch me and jump out at me and really scare me, startle me. I don't like that.
Well, and that where
if you're watching, I don't like scary movies.
But even that compared to scary, at least you're in your own living room and nobody's going to jump out of the TV. But you
don't know that if it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It captures you.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like to be taken out of my own element. And if it's a good movie, it does. And so don't do that. And I meant it that day. I'd fire them on the spot if they jumped out or touched me. right then, and they knew it. And then I had to do one in Madison Square Garden. I said the same
Oh,
thing, and and then I had to watch a film at Rutgers University, and my husband had to hold my hand so tight to keep me in my chair. I mean, I just don't
yeah,
like it, and it's the worst it's the worst casting in the world. Me as my father's daughter. Some of his
yeah.
films. Come
Well,
on,
they automatically think that you like that kind of stuff, I guess, if they
of
don't know
course.
you.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a wuss.
But
I
if you
leave the
do enough
room very
interviews, people will
so.
know that now.
Yes, I mean, murder. She wrote. I leave the room. I really am a wuss. The music builds. I'm out of the room.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah. I know a
peeking
couple
around the
people.
corner when the music builds.
Yeah, I know a
Hmm.
couple people that don't. They will not watch horror movies. My mother-in-law, my late mother-in-law, she would not ever watch a horror movie. So, but I can understand. I
Good
can
for
understand.
her. Good for her. I mean, and there are a lot of my father's films I haven't watched. So
Well, there's
sorry,
160
guys.
of them. So,
See, I thought it was 67, 167.
yeah, okay.
160
I
plus.
don't know.
There we
Yeah.
go. um,
Probably the 67 I haven't seen.
there you go. So, do you own any movie memorabilia, or do you have anything particularly from one of your father's films?
My father was not a collector.
Okay.
Hmm.
And that's not unusual for actors. A lot of them don't go see their own films because
Hmm.
they sit there and they think, I've done that scene this way.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Right.
I would have liked it better. Uh, and so they're not collectors. And of course, most of the collectible things become collectible after the film has
hmm.
been long released.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So the time to collect is not at the time of release or when the movie is in the theater. And the answer is no, I don't own any
Mhm.
collectibles.
Well,
And
back.
my father didn't own any
Mhm.
collectibles. And don't I wish he had collected all the movie posters
Oh,
of
yeah,
all the movies he did. But of
Right.
course he didn't. And of course
yeah,
I don't have any.
yeah. Well, back then, too, they even when movies were made, they would use different sets for different movies. They'd even get rid of costumes. Even
Sure.
with The Wizard of Oz, they
Oh,
found the lion's costume in a garbage bag, and then they restored it and then sold it, for millions. But back
sure.
then, I think the only person was Debbie Reynolds, who had a museum at one time in Las Vegas, and she had all these
Hmm.
costumes that she saved. And sadly, it's no longer there. I don't know what happened to the costumes. They probably sold them, to individuals, but they didn't know back
Oh
then.
yeah.
Now
And
collecting
they
has
and they
like
they put
grown.
posters over posters,
Oh
you
yeah,
know. So
they
no,
glued them
no,
over
I don't
top
have
of it.
any. I wish I did.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wish I were Kirk Hammett or some of the guys I know who have
Mhm.
wonderful collections. No, I don't.
I really love that you're keeping the memory alive with your father, and I wanted to talk about the
It's the
web.
fans who do that.
Yeah.
It's the
Okay.
fans who keep the memory
Yeah.
alive, and it's the fans the families should be grateful to and appreciate. It really is. If it weren't for the fans, I'd be home cleaning my own. Really, not out, not out thanking the fans, and
Yeah.
not out at shows.
Yeah.
Signing pictures, copies of
Mm.
pictures.
Mhm.
If it weren't for the fans, truly,
Yeah.
you would be interviewing me.
So you have a website, karloff.com, which I like to tell people about. And you have some items in
Thank you.
the gift shop. And one you talked about, or briefly, was the coffee, signature coffee
Yes,
blends. You also have Grinch tumblers. Uh,
I do. I have all sorts of wonderful
yeah, those
tumblers.
look great. I might actually get those. I want to try
Okay,
the coffee too.
it's
You know,
good.
do you know if that coffee's a dark coffee? A light coffee.
It's a dark blend, dark
Good,
roast.
good.
Ooh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Because I drink my coffee black. It's got to be strong. So.
It's up to you how you make it. You can make it wussy with too much water.
Yeah. I have a story about coffee. My brother-in-law, we were living at my in-laws briefly until we could buy a house. And he made coffee for us one morning, and I swear the filter that had the coffee in it from like the day before, he just put water in there and refiltered the old coffee.
Oh.
I took one sip. I could tell by it looked like brown water, I could see through it.
Oh.
So he obviously
I'm sorry.
doesn't drink coffee, I guess.
Oh.
So you have another item in there. It's a documentary.
Yes.
Now is that a new documentary, or is that?
Well, it was done last year.
Okay.
And I mean, it was released last year, and it has some wonderful extras in it, and it won the Rondo Award, and then the extras won a Rondo Award. The Rondo Award is a genre award. I mean, it means
for documentaries,
given the genre of horror, and so in science fiction or horror or whatever you want to call it, it won Best Documentary in that field.
Yeah.
And then it won Best Extras. So it's really very good. It was done by Thomas Hamilton and Ron McCloskey.
Okay.
And it's got lots of people saying nice things about it and showing films, etc. It's really, it's well done. It even has me on it saying nice things about my father. It's a nice documentary. It's well worth watching.
Yeah,
and if you get the what is called the limited edition, it has the extras and a pamphlet that go with it, and it's the limited edition is $30. Those are available, and it comes in just DVD format or Blu-ray format or a combination of both with the extras on it, and it's good. It's a good documentary. It's well done.
Are you going to have the coffee at Chiller? You're going to be at Chiller.
Stuff at the show I'm doing in Chiller.
Okay.
Chiller is a show in Parsippany, New Jersey. Learn to spell it before you try to say it. And it's at Parsippany, and it's the last weekend in October. And I've been doing it for 100 years. And it's a good show.
I've been going
it's a huge show.
Since 1999. So I've been.
Do I know you?
No, unfortunately, I never met you. I don't know how. But we will meet. I'm
always there.
We'll be there this year.
Why haven't you come to my table?
We will. We're.
Why haven't you come to my table? I've been there 100 years. I looked better when I started going. Well, I'll be there this year.
We're going to come by and say hello.
That's my dog barking.
Sure.
And if you have the coffee there, I'm going to buy the coffee.
I hope you do more than that. I hope you buy coffee, and I hope you buy a mug, a tumbler. Golly.
There you go. Buy one of each.
Stock up. Because the prices are better at the show.
Okay. Well, yeah, you don't have to pay
prices
shipping.
Prices are better at the show.
Yeah, no shipping.
Right. No shipping.
Because I live an hour away from
shipping is a killer.
Yes, it is. We were just talking about that.
Oh, then you know how to spell it.
PARSI.
Oh. Then you got it right so far.
PPANY.
Yep.
I think.
No, I think there are more double consonants.
Yeah, there's either two S's or two.
I think there's two P's. I think you got it.
You have every consonant in the world.
Yeah.
Parsippany, yes.
It's like Mississippi.
But it's at the Hilton Parsippany.
Yes.
And it runs from Friday through Sunday. Friday evening through Sunday. And it's a fun show. It's got one of everything. It really does.
Yeah, and there's a concert at night.
Well, it's got Yes, that's better than saying music. Um, and it's run by Kevin Clement. He's wonderful. And he named his daughter Sarah Jane. So I'm Sarah
Oh,
Jane
wow.
the elder, and she's Sarah Jane the younger,
Mhm.
Oh, there you go.
much
Nice.
younger. And he's wonderful. Kevin's wonderful. And the show is really diverse, one might say.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Diverse.
Yeah,
It
not
has
just
everything
yeah.
from, oh, it's
TV,
wonderful,
movie, music.
everything.
Yeah.
And it has diverse guests.
hmm
Yes.
I'm the best behaved.
So come
That
out
should
and see
give you some
Sarah
idea.
at Chiller, and we'll be there.
Are you just going to be there? Or are you going to be doing something there?
No, we're just attending.
Yeah, we're just going to attend and visit wonderful
Yeah.
celebrities like yourself.
Oh, aren't you nice? I'm not a celebrity.
Ah, yes, you are.
No, my father was,
There you go. That's fair.
and I'm not. And mine is a signature, not an autograph.
Okay.
But I
All right.
sign pictures for things. I sign things for people. You
Mhm.
can bring things for me to sign, or you can purchase things for me to sign. And
Okay.
there's no charge for signing.
So speaking of music, we have a couple more questions before we go. And they're probably questions maybe you've never been asked before. I don't know. Because we're mainly a music podcast, as you can see. No good music. So I want to ask you
Yes.
a couple music questions.
I think that's very clever.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, everybody likes that name.
Yes.
Number one, do you play any musical instruments or have you?
No with no K.
Okay.
Not even the recorder? The little, like, flute thing in school?
Not in school or
No.
anything?
Okay.
No, I took piano lessons and I hated them, and I
Okay.
wish I'd continued with them. I love the piano and I love the clarinet.
hmm
Oh, cool.
I play neither.
That's okay.
What do
What
you
would-
guys play?
I play guitar a little bit. I get better each year since I was 15, so I'm still okay. Still learning. Jeremy plays.
Play guitar and sing.
Yeah, Jeremy
I like to sing.
karaoke.
Who sings?
Me.
Jeremy.
I try.
Oh.
Let's put it that way. I try to sing. I've been told
Okay.
I'm good.
But it's usually at
By who?
bars, so you know
Exactly. But
people have.
people who are drinking.
Depends on how many beers people have. That
Oh, well
they tell
then.
you you're good, you know, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what was the last concert you went to?
Oh my, that's been a while. Probably something that Julian Stringle was playing at.
Okay,
Do you know who he is?
no.
Aha!
What-
Gotcha. He's a world-class clarinet player.
Okay,
Oh,
He's
okay.
British.
what's his
He's
name again?
superb. Julian Stringle. Go
Stringle.
buy one of his
Okay,
music by Chiller, and we'll chat about him.
okay.
He really is a world-class clarinetist, jazz mainly,
hmm
but he can play anything, classical, anything, and he's British. He's superb. You'll
Yeah, I
be
like all
doing
kinds of
yourself a
music.
favor.
I like.
Julian Stringle.
Okay, and then
Yeah, I don't find any promise in that okay that you'll
I
have
will.
one of his.
No, he always
sweet
checks
like
out.
no, I'm
Stringle.
always looking for new music.
Yes, he's always looking for new music for sure.
Oh,
We
well
both are,
then.
so
And I like
All right,
I like
get yourself
classical.
a CD.
I like jazz, blues. I like everything except
He
rap.
sings too.
So
Please do yourself a favor
no,
by
I will
Chiller.
definitely. I'm gonna check them out, and then when we see you, I'm gonna tell you
well,
what I
and
think.
if we even get the CD, if we can find a CD ahead of time, we'll bring it with us to show you that we listened to it and got it.
Oh, that would be wonderful. You can find it.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's British. All right. I'm going to his concert. I'm going to the UK on Thursday.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
And one of the
Safely.
things I'm doing is going to Julian. I know Julian well.
Mhm.
And one of the things I'm doing is to go to see his concert on the
Well,
night.
safe travels.
Thank you.
And I want one last music question. Is
Yes, sir.
what kind of music did you grow up listening to, either as a child or a teenager?
The American Songbook. Well, that stumped you, didn't it?
Like the 40s, 50s, right?
Well, like Sinatra.
Yeah.
There you go.
When you said that, I immediately
Tony
thought,
Bennett.
believe it or not, when you said that, I immediately thought of Rod Stewart and Barry Manilow, because I think they've mentioned that.
Too young.
No, but they've mentioned the American Songbook, and they've done music.
Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Sinatra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A little bit older than what you mentioned.
I like Dean Martin. I like Sinatra, and
Sinatra was my granddaughter's godfather was.
Really?
And Sinatra Jr. and I were very good friends.
I love Sinatra.
Oh yeah. Talk about pronunciation.
So Sarah, we love talking to you today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day, and we will definitely come over to your table.
Absolutely.
Talk to you, and
with a CD from Julian Stringle.
Yes, we'll have that.
Yes.
And then we'll give it to you, and the next time you see him, you can get it signed, and then the next time we see you, you can
give it back to
I'm
us.
just kidding.
No, I'll do that.
Oh,
wow. I will have already been. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Yep. And we'll see you soon.
Yes. Won't that be nice?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm sorry I was late.
Oh,
why do you keep leaning forward?
I'm looking at, I'm old. I have to look up. I can't see.
That's a fib. Thank you. Bye.
You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts.